it's Miriam here. Good morning. Well, it's morning for me. As I mentioned, I'm just turning up as I am first thing in the morning to, invest that time into me, into my thoughts and managing my thoughts. So this is day 2 of doing a Metacog. A Metacog is just a powerful way to really connect with what's at the underlying thread of your thoughts. What's at the bottom of your thoughts, what's hanging below there that just needs a little bit of understanding and insight. And so I've been metacogging now along with the NEUROCYCLE app that Dr. Caroline Leaf has. I want to honour her for the work she's done. She's a neuroscientist and she has done so much research into the brain. So I highly recommend the NEUROCYCLE app. That's a way to work through and do this metacogging process as well. Plus, with Dr. Caroline Leaf, you will get a huge amount of information. She has done massive amounts of research, which is just so powerful. So guess what? We don't go 3 seconds without having a thought, without thinking. So there's good 20 or more thoughts a minute in our brain. You do the maths on how many that makes it an hour, a day. We do a lot of thinking. And I know for me, I've come to really understand that my thoughts trigger the way I feel. My feelings trigger my behaviours and my attitudes, my actions. And what I've really learnt is that what actually triggers that thought, a thought isn't just a random thing that comes out of nowhere. A thought stems from a memory, from something that has happened, an experience that a memory brings. And so a memory will trigger a thought, and a thought triggers the feeling, and the feeling triggers the action or the behaviour or the attitude. So our thoughts are really powerful. And what metacogging does is it really helps to bring out those thoughts, but even more powerfully, it connects with the memory of where that thought started. Now, sometimes those memories are so far removed, they're decades ago, if you're old like me. But the thing is that we don't have to live unaware. We don't have to live not knowing what that memory did for us. Like, it's lodged in our brain, it's lodged in our body, it's lodged in our cellular memory. So if we just let these memories float around and continue to dictate our thoughts, we can be driven by very toxic thinking. So when you're ruminating, going round and round in circles, you're overthinking, that's when a toxic thought has come up. Today, I want to really get to unpack what is my toxic thought behind this eating. Now, this is how I'm going to do it. I'm going to go back through what I journaled yesterday, and I'm going to see the themes, and that's going to help me identify what is the toxic thought. You'll find there'll be maybe 3 to 5 ideas or themes that might come through your writing. So then sit down and work out which is the one that you're going to work on for this round of the metacogging. So I'm looking for the themes, and I find 3, which are all quite similar really. But the one I'm going to end up with is, why can't I say no? Okay, so I've got the day and the date. I always find that's really helpful. And then I'm starting with the awareness. This is the first piece. This is getting aware of what this saying no means. What is the issue? What's happening? Gathering my thoughts. Why is it getting so hard? Why am I saying no to me? And why am I my own bully? Why am I having so much trouble disciplining myself? Next is my response. What's my response to this? And that comes through curiosity, asking questions. What, how, why, when, can I, should I? All of these things help to really unpack what's going on with this. So what am I having trouble saying? How are my behaviours different to what they were before? Why do I think I'm behaving like this? What is my perspective on this? Can I connect to anything that's a memory? And so these are all things that I get curious about and I ask about to unpack my response. So asking those questions, curious, get curious. What? How? Why? When? Those are the things that are going to help you unpack a little bit more and get a bit more aware of this situation and what's behind it. And for me, that was really powerful. The next step is creating the Metacog. You can do this in the middle like I have here, or you can start up in the top corner. Honestly, it's as creative as you want to be. And I put the toxic thought in that middle box. Then next, I start to tease out the thoughts. This one is, what's happening? You know, what is it that I'm doing? Because I'm asking myself, why am I having trouble? So what am I doing? What am I doing? So that arm is listing all the things that come to mind, you know, what am I doing? And I just wrote down, I'm just ignoring the inner voice. I'm not paying attention. I'm eating what I want because it makes me feel better. And so these were some of the thoughts that came to me about some of the why questions and the what questions and the how questions. And so I'm just teasing that out in this section here. Then once I've done my, teasing it out in terms of what I'm doing, now I'm going to go on to my second arm of the Metacog. And this one's going to record behaviours that have changed. What are some of the behaviours that I've noticed that have changed? And so I just wrote down the things that came to mind. You know, they do come to mind as you get used to this process. Initially, it might take you a bit of time to connect with some of this stuff, but for me now it comes quite quickly. But, I just wrote out eating a lot of carbs, bread, cakes, biscuits, things that I didn't used to eat before, eating more dairy, milk and cheese, eating in between meals, feeling forever hungry. I just felt hungry all the time, eating large quantities, ignoring that inner voice. So this is my changed behaviours that I've noticed since this issue of weight. The next arm that I'm drawing here is labelled Origin Story, and this is where the memories can start to be tapped into. Don't be surprised if it takes a little while to connect with some of the memories. Remember, some of them might be decades ago. So sometimes it's taken me a whole 21 days of a NEUROCYCLE, or other times they've come quite easily, but it's not something to be concerned about. So just keep working at it, they will come. The memories that came for me were food was always a reward, or food was withheld from me at times. Often it was withheld as a form of punishment. I felt hungry often as a child, and I couldn't eat when I was hungry, so I'd often be absolutely ravenously hungry at mealtimes. So these were some of the memories that came back for me. Last of all, we're going to connect with some triggers, the ways that we might have been triggered from what we've discovered and what's come out today. And I do this in a different colour. The triggers and a few other things, we'll get to see the pattern there, and it helps to just highlight them. So for me, the triggers that came up was it wasn't fair, I didn't understand, I felt angry and sad, and I felt withheld from. So these were some powerful triggers for me. Well, that was interesting. That brought up some emotions for me. I could feel some really yucky stuff actually as I was writing it. So that's good, because there's obviously something deep there that needs a bit of digging around to bring that healing to whatever it is that's causing this chaotic eating habit to have taken over just at the moment. And I'm doing this because I want to fit into my summer clothes, which is not that far away right now. So the last thing in the process of the metacogging is to do something that is an action that is physical, that maybe is able, or a phrase or something that's going to really help you be reminded during the day when that toxic thought comes up. So when my toxic thought, why can't I say no to myself, comes up, I'm going to use a technique called havening. Dr. Caroline Leaf uses this throughout her NEUROCYCLE app, but it's actually come from a group who you can find. You could Google havening.com, and there's a lot about havening. So havening is actually a process where you hug yourself, you caress yourself. So I'm going to actually hug myself. I'm going to caress myself. I'm going to say, Miriam, it's okay. It's okay. And I'm going to hug myself, because that actually is something that makes me feel quite comforted from those emotions that have come up as I've been doing this. So we'll learn a lot, not just about the metacogging through this series, but we will also learn about some strategies and techniques that help with dealing with toxic thoughts. So today, when that toxic thought comes up, why can't I say no to myself? This is what I'm going to do. And not only am I just going to do that, I'm going to put a reminder in my phone for 7 times during the day. So even if I don't have the toxic thought, to just havening. I'm not quite sure why it's called that, but I'm going to hug myself, and I'm just going to say, it's okay. It's okay. Because obviously something wasn't okay, and I need to find out what that was. So that's the end of day 2. Have fun with your day 2. There's no rules here. There's no right or wrong. There's no, this is what you should have done. It's actually so fluid and free, this whole process. And after now having NEUROCYCLE for quite a lot of years, I just find, I let myself go with how my thoughts or my memories are coming up. So don't set any rules. There's no right or wrong. Just do it. All right? Have a good day.